we're here, we're still spiraling, but I've got ladybirds on my eyes today. So really, that's all there is to live for. Today, I'm going to talk a little bit about what it feels like when your childhood dreams come true. Because turns out it's actually a bit complicated. It might be a bit more complicated than what you think. And maybe you can relate. Who knows? First of all, life update. The 20th of July just passed, and it was a really important time in our culture because something incredible happened. Here we got a new Prime Minister, but more importantly, it was my birthday. Yes! I turned 26 a few days ago, and I feel no different. The thing is with having a July birthday is I already feel 26 before the birthday comes around because I've lived. That makes no sense. But yeah, it feels no different. It was a lovely birthday. I went to go and see Waitress, which is my favourite musical of all time. And it was incredible. The current cast is phenomenal. Carrie Hope Fletcher made me sob with her rendition of She Used to Be Mine. Dr. Pomatter, I think Dan Partridge. Ugh. Incredible. Comedic actor. Beautiful man. It was so good, and I cried as always. I had a lovely birthday. Thank you for all the birthday wishes to those who did. Further on the life update, I have a new drummer. Thank the Lord. I found a drummer. My previous drummer took a break from music, so he's a very good friend, and I was like, yep. You got to do what you got to do. Tried out a couple drummers and landed on Harry. So if you come to a gig, our new drummer is called Harry. He is incredible. And we're very, very excited to play some shows together. He brings a real fun energy to the band. And speaking of shows, my next gig is Twinfest, the festival in Northampton. It's a fantastic festival. Last year, they chose me to represent Northampton over in France, and I got to ferry over and drive over to France, to Poitiers, and meet all of these incredible people and eat a lot of bread, and played 4 gigs over 3 days, and it felt like I was a rock star. So Twinfest is such a good and important festival, and I encourage you all to support it and go to the whole festival or come and see me. I'm playing on Sunday, the 2nd of August at 8 p.m. at King Billy in Northampton. It's a fantastic festival, and it really changes and impacts the lives of musicians like me who don't have the funds and don't have the means to travel around the world to play gigs. It's fantastic. So get your tickets if you want to come and see me or go see the whole festival. It is really good. So on to today's main topic, achieving your childhood dreams. It's so dramatic. Recently, I guess not so recently now, but I played Godiva Festival, which is a big festival in Coventry, if you've never heard of it. I grew up going to Godiva Festival, and I would go every year with my mates and cause havoc. It was free. You'd just go there, hang out, get to watch some big up and coming band. It was so good. And I remember when I was 17 and I just sort of started playing the guitar and writing my own songs, I said to myself, I saw the acoustic, I think it was an acoustic tent, and you could apply to play it or something like that. But I remember being like, I'm going to play in that acoustic tent one day. I'm going to play Godiva Festival one day. And I never thought that it would actually happen. It's just one of those things that you dream about, and it's probably never going to happen, but you dream anyway. And lo and behold, I played it. I only went and played the bloody thing. I think it was earlier in this month. I actually don't remember because my life goes so quickly. But I competed in Godiva Calling, which is the competition to be able to play Godiva Festival, and I won. So I got to play Godiva Festival. I achieved the dream. But it was an amazing experience. We showed up and I felt like a massive pop star. The backstage was so cool, and we had a whole backstage area inside the Transport Museum where we were catered for, and we had a nice woman called Joy who would go and get us anything we asked for. I didn't ask for a single thing because I felt bad. It was incredible, and like they put my stuff on stage for me and took it off for me. I'm not used to that, guys. I'm used to having to do everything myself, lug everything up, squidge on the stage. Not just the backstage area is non-existent, and you just stood in the audience and you're shoving your shit behind a corner, or you've got a cupboard with all your instruments in. Like, I love it, but that's what I'm used to. So it was kind of crazy to have that experience. We did have some tech issues and I was very stressed out. My keys player's laptop would not load up, and we were all just standing there like, is he going to be able to play? There was a moment where we thought that we would have to play without him, which I hate because he adds so much. He's so important to the band. But it managed to just turn on in the nick of time. So I had to drop a song, and then I was all sort of kerfuffled because we'd had the tech issues and I was playing a gig that was my dream. So I was a bit out of it, but it was still really fun, and made some new fans, met some new people. It was a fantastic experience. Wasn't as good as previous Godiva festivals because they stripped back a lot of the budget, and it wasn't in the park like it normally is. So it was a little bit disappointing that the dream was kind of lived out but not fully, because it wasn't how I dreamt of it as a kid. But I'm still classing it as an achievement. It was still fun. It was still a big gig, a big stage. But yeah, then afterwards life just sort of carries on. Like, you're still you. And, you know, believe it or not, outside of Freya Rose, I have a life, a different sort of personality in life that I'm doing. And I'm still me. And I wake up and it doesn't feel like you've achieved anything, which is so strange. And I'm sure other musicians can attest to this, and maybe other creatives as well. You dream of something your whole life, you do it, and then nothing has changed, and it's all just exactly the same. And it's such a weird feeling. You expect to feel this massive sense of accomplishment, and be like, oh, I've made it, I've done the thing that I really want. But it was literally just like playing any other gig, because I'm used to playing gigs. It was just like doing any other gig, except it had all of these lovely benefits. Really, really strange. And I think it's really difficult to cope with that and not let yourself get tied down in it. Because I know a lot of music is about chasing bigger numbers and bigger festivals and bigger streams and bigger opportunities, and the industry encourages that. They encourage us to compete with each other, to always aim higher and higher, which there's nothing wrong with. Obviously, always having ambition is a brilliant thing, but it's also important to just focus on the music. I think there's never really an end point to that. If you're always thinking about the next big thing and I need to do better, I need to get bigger, there's never an end point and you're never going to be happy, which is something I've seen with a few artists in my time. I have come across that and seen that. Some artists are so incapable of celebrating themselves because they're always thinking of like that next milestone, that next thing that they need to hit. And I'm very adamant that I never want to become that person. So far, so good. I think, a lot of people I've seen lose themselves in the industry, chasing the bigger things and forgetting to just stop and have a bit of gratitude and remember. I always think like younger me would have lost her mind over this. Like if I went up to 17-year-old Freya, or they came to the show and was watching me play and they're like, oh my God, that's me, they'd be gobsmacked. She would absolutely lose her mind because that's like the biggest gig that she could even fathom playing. This, like, when I had this dream, I'd never played a gig. I'd never played with a band. I'd never even dreamed of going on a stage. I had such extreme stage anxiety. She would have lost her fucking mind about playing Godiva Festival on a stage that big in front of those people. So I always try and think back to her and like what she would go crazy for and what she would like be so thrilled that this is our life now. And just like every little thing deserves celebrating. It doesn't matter how big or small it is. I personally celebrate every single time that someone comes up to me and says that my music influenced their life and how they think, or like they really related to it and it's really helped them feel like they have someone that feels the same way as them. I celebrate that every single time. I celebrate every time someone buys a CD. Every time someone even thinks of me to put me on a gig. Like, everything deserves celebrating, no matter how big or small, because you're doing it. And if you're doing it independently, that's crazy. It's so much work. You know, growth, it doesn't just happen when something huge happens. It's slow and it builds, and those little interactions and those little milestones, those little celebrations are a part of the growth. Me getting to play Godiva Festival is because I've grafted playing little gigs for however many years it's been now. 3 years? I don't know. 4 years? God knows. And interacting with people and making connections and making the band the best that they can be so that we win the competition. You know, I competed in the competition last year and I came second and I didn't win, and it was devastating. Like, last year it crushed me and I was like, no, like, I'm just gonna give up. But me failing last year had to happen for me to win this year, if that makes sense. I had to not fail, I had to not win to put that motivation into winning. I'm gonna sneeze. Sorry about that. But yeah, the growth is slow, especially at this level, especially with the funds that I have. And the dreams and the goals aren't ever like the end point. They're just like little checkpoints. And, you know, just having gratitude for those little checkpoints will encourage me to keep getting new dreams. Oh my God, that makes me think of Tangled. You are my new dream. Sorry, I was obsessed with that film. I can quote the whole film. But yeah, the fun part is we get to just keep on making new dreams and new goals, and this little journey just keeps on going, and some of you get to be here with me through it, which is lovely. Thank you for all supporting me and helping me achieve these dreams. How did Gen Z... I am Gen Z, but I need 2 hands. Love heart. I'm doing a love heart for listeners with my hands. I tried to do it the Gen Z way, but I failed. Teehee. Okay. Yeah, tell me what's a childhood dream you've achieved? If you've achieved any, and any that you're like working towards, I'd love to hear about them and talk about them. We had some lovely conversations on the last video about misogyny. That is my most viewed podcast episode. Holy fuck, it got like 500 views, which isn't that many in the grand scheme of things. But for me, these podcasts get like 30 views. So popped off. People were raging in the comments. I've had a lot of comments from men in the music industry being like, oh, we shouldn't pit each other against each other. It's hard for everyone. Yes. We can acknowledge that it's hard for everyone and also highlight that it's way harder for women. They don't have to be separate conversations. They can be just a whole conversation. Every music industry is shit. Women suffer in it harder than anyone else. Okay? Men? God. Okay. So yeah, talk to me in the comments about your dreams. Let's have a little natter. I don't know what my next dream is. What is my next dream? I have a list in my phone actually of hold on, let me get the list up. I have a list in my phone of like bucket list life goal things. Oh, my camera's gonna shut off again because it gets too hot. This is the troubles with shooting in 4K, guys. Where's my list? Life goals list. Okay, so this is for my whole life. Some of them are quite niche. Play Glastonbury, obviously. Whether that's a small stage or a big stage, just playing it. Play Truck Festival, that is a dream. I got onto the Truck shortlist one year when I didn't even have anything out. I had a shit EP out and I just applied with a demo of Retrospect and it wasn't good and I got onto the shortlist. I didn't make it in, but I've not made it onto the shortlist ever since. So maybe I should just go back to applying with shit demos. But I love Truck. It's my favourite festival ever. So I'd love to play that. Be nominated for an Ivory Award. Obviously, if you don't know, the songwriting awards, they're very cool and I would love to win one or just be nominated for one. Fly first class. I want to be bougie for one day in my life. I've never flown first class. And I always say, like, I'm very environmentalist, so I would never, ever have a private jet. I'm always going to be flying first class. But I want to fly first class if I ever get famous or rich. Go on the French show with good lighting. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm sorry, I can't really tell you because I cannot tell you what the name is of the show, but it's like a French talk show. Ariana's been on it, Charlie XCX, everyone's been on it. And the lighting on that show is insane. Everyone looks so hot and beautiful. So I want to go on the French show with good lighting. I want to have a whole crowd with their flashlights on. I have never experienced this. And that is one of the main things that made me want to do music is when I've spoken about it before on this podcast. Like I went to a Vamps concert and everyone had their flashlights on. And every time I'm at a gig where it happens, it just happened. I went to go see Wolfpack in London and at the O2, first ever gig I saw at the O2. And they all had their flashlights on and it was beautiful. And I was just like, oh, I want this so bad. So that's a big one. Everyone sings my song at a gig. I have some people singing along currently. And I've had some gigs where most people are singing along. But I need like the whole crowd is singing. Everyone's singing all the words. That's what a dream is. Oh, and then there's this interview where you're underneath a pillow fort. I think that's a really cool interview concept, so I'd really like to be on that show as well. They're my current list of dreams. I'm sort of adding as I go along, as I remember things and think about things. Is that a normal thing to do? I don't know. Well, I've done it. I've done it now. It's too bleeding late. What are they going to do? Shoot me? Have to catch me first. I'm like a whippet. Whew, these episodes really are just like a study into ADHD. Lol. Okay. Time to move into our chronically online section. Everyone's favourite section where I clip farm. Quite a lot. When I first wrote the bullet points for this episode, there was like nothing that had happened that interested me. And then I had to wait like another week or two to film this because I've had a busy time. And everything's happened, so I've got a lot to talk about. First of all, Taylor Swift wedding. One of the biggest pop culture moments in a long time. I'm not a massive Taylor Swift fan. I think I have a lot of negative opinions about Taylor Swift. But love a big pop culture moment, so I was very invested in the wedding. Kind of crazy that it was at the MSG. I think that's such an ugly choice for a wedding venue and such a strange choice for a wedding venue. Billionaires can get... Look, Jeff Bezos booked out the whole of Venice, didn't he, for his wedding? Like, billionaires can get married in places and have it be private. Everyone was like, oh, it's for privacy. Yeah, it was secure. It wasn't private. It was one of the most talked about weddings ever because it was in the centre of New York and they paid loads of police. There was loads of police presence and everyone was complaining about taxpayer money, stuff like that. A crazy choice of venue, in my opinion. Also, I heard that she walked down the aisle to her own song. As a musician, I think that's insane. I recently got married last year. Did not walk down the aisle to my own song. I can't think of anything worse than walking down the aisle to my own song. I have songs written about my husband. I would not walk down the aisle to them. That's just unfathomable to me. And I feel like that must be some sort of ego narcissism thing. Insane choice. But yeah, everyone was like losing their minds over Taylor Swift just existing. The parasocial crazies were out. And then I saw this TikTok where the like catering company came out and they had some spare pastries or whatever. Oh, please don't sneeze again. I'm sorry. I haven't sneezed all day. What is going on? Yeah, the catering company came out and they had pastries that were left over and they gave them to some fans that were like waiting on barrier. And the TikTok of it is crazy. They're like screaming their faces off. Like, I've got Taylor Swift's dessert. Oh my God. And like eating it and like, oh, it's insane. It's like so dystopian and like let them eat cake. The celebrity guest list was fun though. It was really fun. I'm a big pop culture fan, as we know, and I really like keeping up with people's messy exes, and I think Taylor Swift's wedding was probably one of the messiest celebrity guest lists of all time. I mean, it was crazy anyway. There was like Tom Hanks, Benson Boone, Greg James, Charlie Day, all in the same room. Where would they be in the same room ever again? That's insane. And yeah, there was like some messy exes. Like, I don't think, Harry Styles didn't go, but obviously Harry Styles was with Taylor Swift at one point, but is now with Zoe Kravitz, and Zoe Kravitz is one of Taylor Swift's best friends, so she was at the wedding. I don't, like, that must be weird. And there was loads of like exes there. It was kind of messy, but I live for that. But I mean, props to them. You haven't seen any photos from it, so that's summit. That's semi-private. I was expecting them to sell them or whatever. Speaking of weddings, Matty Healy just got married to Gabriette. I'm a massive 1975 fan. They are probably one of my favourite artists ever. Between Chappell Roan and 1975, they're probably my favourite artists of all time. And Matty Healy's Stag Do, he had a 1975 tribute band. Now, I just actually can't cope. Like, that is a next level of cunt. The cuntiness is off the fucking Richter scale. That is insane. I just love that. I love that he had a 1975 tribute at his Stag Do and then he got on stage with them and sung with them. I think that's brilliant. Also, the wedding looked amazing. It looked very nice. Gabriette's dresses were really nice. And it was quite sweet to see him get emotional and like have his little happy ending. As like a longtime fan, I've seen him talk about how much he wants like a family and stuff. So that's very nice. Very happy for him. England men lost the World Cup again. Who's surprised? Not me. I'm so glad that we gave the men an opportunity to open up for the real World Cup, which is next year, and that's the Women's World Cup. Yay! The women actually win things. The women won the Euros. Did we win it twice? Guys, catch up. The men need to catch up. Yeah, that was boring. And then also BBC introducing stage. The BBC introducing stage has been axed from Reading and Leeds Festival, which is devastating. That's one of the dreams that I've had, is to play that. So many big bands that you hear of now, big pop stars, big bands, played on that stage. I think Ed Sheeran played on that stage. I can't list any right now, but like I think it was like a stat was like 70% of the Reading and Leeds lineup this year played on that BBC introducing stage at one point. But they've axed it because in their words, it's going to open it up to a wider range of people, because the only people that could play it were people that were put forward by BBC introducing, whereas now anyone can play it, which, as someone that's involved in the industry, I think is a load of crap. As I've been put on a lot of BBC introducing stages by the incredible Kerry Kosh, who is our local BBC introducing presenter. She's amazing. She really gets involved in the Northampton local scene, finds these acts and platforms them in the perfect place, and keeps up with what's going on, and really champions the local scene. And it's been amazing to be put on those BBC introducing stages because of that. Whereas now, the issue is going to be curators, I'm assuming they're going to be old and boring, that are going to choose. And it's just going to be people that have already have funds and already have the means. It's going to be people that have connections or have been on a label before and then dropped, or have a lot more money. It's going to be those people that have already got their foot in the door that are going to get put on this new canopy stage. And that's really disappointing. I don't think it does open it up to more artists. I think it shuts it down for working class artists. And it's really disappointing, but not surprising. To be honest, the industry is dying every second. And on that positive note, I did want to try out a new section, which is my recommendations of the month. I love film, I love books, I love music. Big fan of all three. And I thought I would recommend you a book, a film, and an album to go and read, watch, or listen to this month. So because it's the first one, I'm just going to tell you my favourite book of all time, which is First Time Caller by B.K. Borison. If you know me, this is not a surprise. Oh, it's just so good. It is a romance. It's a rom-com. I love romance books. It's based off of Sleepless in Seattle, but in my opinion, way better than Sleepless in Seattle, because I think Sleepless in Seattle is rubbish. It's really cute. It's really cute. It's really lovely. Definitely go read it. It's only short. Real feel-good vibe. Film. Recently, I watched the Kingsman films again. I don't know why, I just had a hankering for it, and they're so good. Especially the first one. The first one is just incredible. I love that it like brings awareness. Not awareness. That makes it sound like we're weird. We're like a charity case. I just love that it highlights working class people. And I really love the character of Eggsy. And I think it's a brilliant film, and the shots are incredible. The camera work in the fight scenes is just so cool. So definitely go and watch Kingsman 1 if you haven't. And then also Kingsman 2, because Elton John Friend Detected is the funniest shit I've ever seen. And then if you fancy it, the Kingsman prequel, which is also good. It's got Rasputin in it. And then album, I'm going to recommend The Clearing by Wolf Alice this month. Beautiful, beautiful album. It's my go-to like cooking album. It's so chill but fun. The production is just lush. So go listen to that. It is incredible. And with that, we come to the end of episode 5 of Publicly Spiraling. Thank you for joining me again on what is basically just me rambling for half an hour. Hope you enjoyed the ladybird eyeshadow. I sure as fuck did. It took me ages. I do hope, on a serious note, that this episode helps you to celebrate things that you have worked hard for in your life, whether you're a musician or not. Whether you're just a regular old person that works a 9-to-5 job in an office, celebrate the things that you've worked hard for. My phone's ringing. And yeah, think about that younger version of you, how proud they would be of you. If you want to come to Twinfest come to the whole festival, but on the 2nd of August, I am playing at 8 p.m. You can get your tickets from the link in my bio. Leave your questions and your recommendations or your childhood dreams in the comments, and I'll see you next month, guys. Bye.